Hello. Hey, this is Wayne at Grant Cardone's office. I think I've got quite a few managers on here already so far. So what we're going to do is in a couple minutes, we'll do a quick roll call to make sure we've got everybody district, and then we'll go ahead and get started. But what'll make things a little bit quicker, if you type in the chat here for the GoToMeeting, if you type in your store name and the district that you're in, that'll help with a roll call. So if you go ahead and do that early on, even better. So we'll get started here in a few minutes.
$95.
Hey, for you guys just signing on, first of all, thanks for being on today's call, and just go ahead and type into the chat, the chat here for the GoToMeeting, your store name and the district that you're in.
Where do we type that in?
Oh, so it's going to be in the GoToMeeting chat. If you're already on the online, that window that appears has a section at the bottom for chat.
Good. Chick-fil-A today.
Hey, Mike, Doug, do I need to type this audio pin in somewhere?
I don't think you need to do that.
You're good. If
Wayne,
we can hear you.
use it.
Yeah, you're good. He's good to go. If I can hear him right now, then that's what we're looking for.
All right, everyone's fine.
Okay, good. And then for everybody who can hear me right now, just make sure that you have the online side pulled up. It should actually already say Hertz Car Sales University. I want to make sure you can see my screen.
Mike, this is Vincent Schomburg. I can see your screen. My question is this something that we're supposed to type somewhere?
Yeah,
There
in the
was a
chat box.
Excuse me?
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, all right. There's a separate chat box that should have popped up that says GoToMeeting, and it allows you to type where it says chat. If you can just put your name and your store. This is how we're doing roll call.
Okay. My store is just in Schaumburg or number or area or just my store?
Do Schaumburg and the 4-digit area number.
Okay, thank you.
Let's just put star. They all know who you are.
Stop it.
Hey, Mike, are you on? Mike?
I'm on. Yeah,
This is
I'm
Bob
here.
Reasoner. I don't see my name on here. I just signed up for the class about a half hour ago, and I thought I'd put my name in the, that chat area, the little box, but I don't see it. Are you seeing me on this?
I see you. Yeah, you just popped up.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Credit. Cool. Thanks.
I'm going to give everyone another minute, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
For a while. So,
Someone's got some Guns N' Roses on in the background.
Can everyone go on mute, please?
What I'm going to do, Mike, is I'm going to just do a mass mute once they get started here in a few seconds, and then I'll open it up for questions once we're in.
All right, good idea.
Okay. So the first thing is, Mike, just to make sure that the regions that I have right now for everyone who's checked in is central. It's mainly central and northeast. Are those the regions for today's call?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to go down the list. This is if I didn't already have you in the chat. Either type in the chat or let me know that we have someone representing from your store, so we can make sure that we have you as attended. So who do I have here from? This is from Central, from Nashville. And again, just type in the chat, say something if I've got you here. So Nashville. Also need someone from
Nashville.
Memphis. All right, thank you. And then Memphis. And then Plains.
Go in, Kiko.
Is that from Memphis or is that from Plains?
They are from Des Plaines.
All right, thank you. All right, who do I have from Cincinnati or Henderson? Thanks a lot, Andrew. All right, and then moving over to Northeast, Smithtown. Again, you can type it in chat. You can say it other ways, fine. So Smithtown, I need someone from Johnston, Boston, Warminster.
I'm actually trying to get on right now.
Okay, and then what location, what store were you at?
Warminster, it's Rosemary.
All right, thank you. And then last one here is Bensalem.
Ron Sandler from Webster is on also.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we've got just about everybody. I might be missing one, but I'm going to go ahead and move forward. I'll just send you this list afterwards, Mike, so make sure we're on the same page.
All right, thanks.
Thanks a lot for joining us, everyone, today. What we're going to be doing is that this entire training program, the Hertz Car Sales University, I mean, it's something new. It's an organization-wide initiative, and we want to make sure that before we go in and get any salespeople started or make anything mandatory or tie anything to anyone's salaries, that management knows exactly what the purpose of this program is, how to operate it, what the expectation is for the salespeople, and how to make this really a success across the board, at your store. But when we do that at every location, then really just across the entire organization. So I'm going to be going into, first of all, how to get in, what the curriculum is going to look like for each department. There's a specific set of training that was put together and tailored to each role. So whether you're in F&I or maybe we've got the salespeople, or maybe it's the guys in dealer direct, or even for managers, you have your own certification path, your own path and levels that you work through this curriculum. Also going to cover with you what kind of reporting you're going to be getting at the store level and that we have set up in general for you. And then also just what management tools that we have in place, anywhere from your training itself to meetings, meetings that we put together in the platform to help you, to have content, to have something you can actually discuss with your team to help reinforce the training that they're doing on their own. So right now, what you should see is my screen, Hertz Car Sales University. What you're looking at is what we call the main menu. From any point of the training, if you look at that button here at the top left where it says main menu, it's going to guide you right back here. And what we have from the main menu is that we're going to give them, number one, as a salesperson or anyone who logs in, information about their training activity. There's going to be expectations in place on how much training to do and what it is they should be training on. So this is just kind of a quick glance of, hey, what have they done recently? Where'd they leave off? So they can pretty much get started right where they left off in their last time they were training. And then just some quick links for different features, different tools that they've got in the program, kind of like their favorites. They have a certain curriculum they work off of, But for any salesperson, the problems that they have, their sticking point as a person, as a sales guy, is going to be a little different from person to person. So they're going to favorite different sections of the training that they can come back to. They're going to take notes in the platform. We're going to organize them, and they can export them. They can print them out. They can have a reference of what they've gone through. We can do things a little later on, like even assign them training on a calendar. And then if they just are going to check, hey, how far through this program am I to move on to the next level, or just in getting certified so that I can get that pay bump, that increase, am I? They can check that in their certifications. But really where everyone's going to be working out of, where 99% of the time they're going to hop in, this is where they need to go, is going to be right into the training center. So I'm just going to hop right in there. Now in the training center, this is where it's going to vary by department. So your department, whatever department you happen to be in, and I don't just mean you as a manager, but I mean whoever it is that's signing in, whether they're in sales, F&I, if it's dealer direct sales, they're going to see only their part of the platform. Management is going to be able to see a little bit more, but for F&I, they log in, they've got content related to being an F&I manager. They have a specific curriculum set up, so when they log in, they go right into their section of the platform. They don't even get these different options. They're just going to hop right into their section. Same thing as a salesperson. If you're going to be in sales, then we set you up in the platform in a way that you only see the content that relates to you. So when you log in as a salesperson, you go to Training Center to do your daily training. Well, you're not going to see an option for management. You're not going to see an option for dealer direct sales. You will see what is relevant to your role. So they log in day one, they're only going to see the training that relates to them. Now, speaking of that training, I want to give you an idea of how the curriculum is broken out. It's a time-based curriculum. That just means that the amount of time that you've spent in the platform itself determines how much content you can even see. We have unlocks along the way. So as a salesperson, to give you an example, let's say that we get your district started today. So all the guys in the Northeast and Central. The content they have available to them is for that first level of getting certified in the program. And we're actually tracking how close to getting certified they are. This is how we track how much of the platform they've done. Not in how many chapters have they gone through, not in how many courses, but how close to completing this first level are they? So the reporting that we're going to send out to you is showing you, hey, what percentage of the level 1 certification have they completed? At the end of the week, you're going to get a recap, shows you all your salespeople for your team. It's going to go to the store manager, and it's going to show you what percentage they're at for that level 1. The first one you're going to get at these is going to come in at the end of this week. So 7 days from now, Sunday night, you get a report. Maybe you get it Monday morning when you come in. It's going to show you where your team is at for that first level of training in the first week. Everything else, level 2, level 3, level 4, it's going to be blocked off for the first 30 days. So they've got 30 days that they can complete this level 1. Now, to give you an expectation of what that means, hey, 30 days, the training on fundamentals, training on process, training on calls, internet response, how long of a time commitment daily is that going to be, versus maybe what they're used to. If they really want to complete this in the first 30 days, which would be a pretty big goal, I'll see what, if they're in here 45 minutes a day, 30 to 45 minutes a day, then they'll complete this in the first 30 days. They don't have to complete this in the first 30 days. Really, this is meant to be more of a curriculum they can do in the first 60 days. But look, if they want to be 100% on track, if they want to be leading the pack and not just be doing the bare minimum, they do 30 to 45 minutes a day, they'll complete this in the first month. If they go at a moderate pace, maybe doing about an hour a week, split up throughout the week or in one day, then they're going to be getting through this in about 2 months. Now, what happens is 30 days in, 4 weeks from now, they're going to get access to level 2. And we don't just want them coming in here and completing the content to get credit for completion of the content, because that's not really what this is about. So we've locked their progress in the training center to how long they've been active. So the guys that start off today are going to get access to level 2 30 days from now. When they get level 2, every level after that is going to come in every 60 days, which means next month, yeah, they can be in level 2. And when they finish level 1, great, they move on to level 2. They're going to have 2 months to complete level 2. And even if they were to finish early, even if they, hop in ahead, maybe go to just get credit, whatever the case is, they're still not going to get level 3 for 60 days. So we've tiered this out. We've made it so that the point isn't to just complete the content. It's not to get credit on a report so that it shows that you did something. It's to take meaningful information that you can use when handling a customer, when actually dealing with the situation, in the close of what can I actually say, how can I use this data? That's what we focus on with the training. And that's how we laid out the curriculum. So those things are matching, right? So it's a forced learning path. There's a logic to how they move through it. They're set up in a custom curriculum specifically for your team, and it'll be different by department. So the same way that everything I just said for the sales team, where it's set up in a certain order, same thing applies to F&I. But the training between the different departments, if I have a set curriculum path for dealer direct or for management, it's not the same as for a salesperson. So every department has their own curriculum with a time expectation on when they're going to get the next section of content. And it's going to be time restricted for every department, but they have their own custom path to work off of. Now for management, the way this is going to work is that it'll be a little bit different. You have your path, you have your certification path for you to get your training, your different levels that you operate off. You start off with level 1, just like any salesperson. The difference is from day 1, you get access to some different tools that the salespeople won't even see. Part of the management section of this training, it's not just getting you the same content or similar content that goes hand in hand with what your salespeople are doing, but it's actionable information or actionable processes that you can use at the store. And what do I mean by actionable is, look, you can have training. You can maybe even see a chapter of content as a manager that really makes a lot of sense, and you want all of your salespeople to go through, and you can use that in a meeting. But a lot of times you have specific, problems or sticking points with a certain person or even the entire team that you want to be able to address. So we have tools in here that are meant for you to help run meetings, to help have a structure to training. If maybe your team isn't already used to doing, weekly or daily training, especially as a group, we want to help make that a possibility at the store. Or if you're already used to doing daily training or weekly training or have a set routine or structure to how you run your meetings, we want to help add into that and just give you some more options. So for example, you can run a boot camp. Boot camp has nothing to do with a manager coming in here and doing his own training. A boot camp is a turnkey solution for how you can run sales meetings that incorporate training content, with discussion of that content and practicals on how they can implement and use the information. It's all about how do I use the information that Grant's delivering here in these meetings. So to give you an example of how a boot camp runs, let's say that, we broke out the process and we have a boot camp on just the point of contact, or maybe just follow-up. We go and we run a daily meeting on that topic for about 2 weeks. And over that 2-week process, we give you a day-by-day curriculum for that meeting. It's literally broken out in a training calendar where every day's discussion topic, every day is broken out in a certain order with a logic behind it where, look, if we're going to talk about the point of contact, let's make sure they're greeting the customer right. Once they're greeting the customer right, let's move into what objections are getting from there. So we have a certain topic every day that kind of makes sense. And then what we want to give managers to use with that is a daily structure to those meetings. Again, if it's a team that maybe isn't as used to already running daily training or having very structured curriculum for how they move through training content, we give you that daily expectation. We give you what you do at the start of the meeting, what the discussion piece is going to be, what even the topic is going to be for that meeting, and then we give you a practical activity. So on the first day, if what we're talking about is greeting the customer, the practical activity, them actually using the information from that meeting is going to be, hey, let's have them play out greeting a customer, maybe even pair them up. One guy plays the customer, one guy plays the salesperson, and he's just going to do the correct reading. We make sure they know the correct reading, they play through the correct reading, they do it over and over and over again, and we build repetition of doing and saying the right thing. And we build that habit, so as we move forward every single day, we have some sort of practical. So when we get into handling objections, now they're not playing out how to greet a customer, they're playing out when a customer says, hey, I'm just looking, they're playing out what to actually say that's successful in moving that interaction forward. So that's really the whole purpose of these boot camps. It's separate to what you're doing with the individual curriculum. It's not for managers to come in here and just do training on their own. This is something to help you train as a group. Every boot camp, every day-by-day process that we have here has an action plan that goes with it. So when you're doing it on follow-up and maybe not the point of contact, what you want to look at as a manager is the action plan that's at the top of the page. You download that, you print that out for yourself. You don't give that to the salesperson. This is your plan as a manager, where if you maybe have multiple managers running these meetings, they can pass this along and they can cross off what day they're on. And it shows you exactly what we're doing for each day's meeting. What the purpose of the meeting is, what the activity is, and so forth. Very successful across the board. If that's something that makes sense to even get started, we have guys here at the office that can help you understand the structure a little better. If you want us to go over it with the rest of your managers, we can do that too. But I want to make sure you guys know you have tools like that, like the boot camps, to help run effective meetings on top of just the training that managers have as part of their path. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about the reports that you're going to be getting. So every week, being that we have these different levels, for F&I, for sales, for management, these different levels, we're going to be sending the store manager a progress update. How close to completing their current level is your salesperson or your managers, your F&I team? So we're going to send that out every week. It'll be a weekly report separated by department, by team, to the store manager. Every month, you're going to get a recap showing you the activity for your store, again, separated by team, to the store manager. If I've got a store manager who wants this to go out to a different manager, that's fine. We can add them to the list. If you're just getting some help from your sales managers, your GSM on helping you enforce this, great. Let us know who it is and we'll add them to the report. But the way that it's set up by default, it's going to be the store manager. Weekly report with an update showing you what level each person is at. Monthly recap showing you how much activity, how many chapters of content did the salesperson, did the manager, did the F&I manager actually go through. So those are the two reports that you have set up off the bat. We have other options. We have more that we can do if you want to see more data. We always have access to more data, but that's what you already have. That's going to come to you without you having to log in, press any buttons. You're going to have that information coming out to you. So I know that I've already covered quite a bit. I want to open it up to some questions, from management, from anybody who's got questions. I'm going to unmute everybody here in a second, and I just want to hear, what questions you have so far. And what'll work a little easier, when you ask your question, just let me know what store you're calling in from. And we've got quite a few managers here.
Ron Sandler from Webster. Will we get information as to how we log in to what the address is?
Yes, absolutely. So Ron, what's going to happen is after this call or today, I know we have another one coming up, but everyone individually is going to get their login information for one. Now, separate to that, that's okay, because what if we had a wrong email address? I wouldn't want somebody who never gets information. So every store manager is going to get a full list of the logins for their store. Okay. So we'll have going out is every store manager for Northeast and Central today. By the end of the day, we'll have a full list of logins for their locations. It'll have all your managers, all your salespeople, and of course, you'll have your login on there. So
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. All right, good. Who else?
This is Doug Olson, Crystal Lake, mostly for Mike, because you had mentioned levels here. Now, my guys are all top levels with the old system. What, are we going to strip that from them and take their pay down?
No one's losing any pay whatsoever. They're going to stay at that level, but they are going to start Grant Cardone at level 1 just so that they go through the program, but no one's getting a reduction in pay at all. Don't worry about that.
Are we incentivizing them to do these like we did the Verdes to get to the next level?
If they're already maxed out with Joe Verde, then they're maxed out for their training. No, okay. There's no additional
the only be for their personal knowledge.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay, good question, Doug.
Good. Second question, you're gonna put in level 2 before they finish level 1, is the way I understood it. Is that correct?
Yeah, so they're going to have access. It's time-based, so 30 days in, they will have access to C level 2. Let's say that you have someone who hasn't already had the increase from being level 2. They're going to have to finish level 1 to get credit for 1 before they can start getting credit, pay-wise towards level 2. But
I agree, but why would you even show them level 2 if they haven't finished level 1? That's just a quick question. I don't understand that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. It's not that they start training in level 2. It's just we're not going to block it off past the 30 days. Okay. That's really it. They'll have the option to even see the content at the 30 days.
Now, as a manager, I assume my management courses will coincide with the way the sales and F&I managers courses go in training in order. Is that correct?
Yes, it won't be 100% the same. It'll be a little different because there's management specific content, but it'll be in a similar order. So let's say if they're going in and going through the fundamentals in the first couple months, you'll have that in there as part of your curriculum in the first couple months, but it may not be the first thing that you get because you may have a manager specific course coming up first.
Okay, now as a manager, am I able to go in and see a sales course?
Sure. Yeah, managers can see what salespeople. I mean, I can give you access to see anyone else. The only one that'll really be locked is going to be the manager specific content.
Okay, because I'll be upfront with you, going through the basics with sales as a manager is just as important, I think, as the salesperson doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually included that as part of the manager curriculum. I think there's just a management specific course that comes up first, and then we go into the fundamentals. Yeah, I mean, I'll show you. As part of level 1 for management, you have the 21st century manager. So that's something the sales team wouldn't get at all. Once you go through that, the next step is the fundamentals. But for them, that's their first step. So you'll have all of it. You'll be able to see it. You can even click through and see what they have, but you will at some point go through all the content the sales team is getting, just maybe not in the same order.
Okay.
All right, good. What other questions do we have so far?
This is Lou in Des Plaines. So when a salesperson is done with their level, let's say the first level they get done in 30 days, do they have to keep going into the training, into this menu to see when their next level opens up, or will they get an email stating that, okay, their next level's open, they can go into it? How is that going to work?
Yeah, good question. During their introduction, when we bring them on board, so David Bradley's going to be doing a kickoff with the sales team. When we introduce it to them, we'll let them know that 30 days in, they're going to get access to the second level, and then every 60 days from that point, they get a new level available to them. So they're not going to get an email notification, but we're just going to let them know off the bat, hey, this is the expectation. A month from now, you can see level 2. And then every 2 months is when you're going to get a new one in there. So as long as they're coming in regularly, they'll see it automatically, even if they don't remember that.
Gotcha. Thanks.
And yeah, no problem. And just so you know, because I want to tie that into our last question about the pay scale, we're setting up a notification where for everyone who completes their, whatever level they're currently on, we're setting it up so that HR gets that information so that your salesperson is getting credit for that. So in case that comes up or you're wondering, then we'll make sure that counts for everyone. All right, good. So what other questions do we have so far?
The previous system that we had these weekly expectations, and there was a tickler that came through for the managers. Is that going to exist with this system, or is it just going to be on this 30-day roll?
Okay, yeah, that's good. So the weekly expectation, and that's something that we kind of came up on our call last week, Mike. What we talked about then was about 10 chapters, which is going to be a little less than an hour's worth of training a week, to be something that we look at as kind of like a baseline goal to make sure they're moving through. Does that sound right, Mike?
Yeah, it sounds right.
And that's really what we're looking at from a progress standpoint. The weekly report that I'm going to send out to you every week, instead of even showing you an hour, what the main thing I really want to make sure managers get and look at is that we make sure they're logging in on a regular basis. So on top of just showing, let's say I send you a sales report, and you've got a guy who, 3 weeks from now, he's been training on level 1 for a few weeks. I'm not just going to show you how much progress. Let's say he's 50%, and I'm not just going to show you how much progress. I'm also going to include on there when the last time he had activity in that training was, and when the last time he logged in was. So we want to make sure we're seeing that weekly activity. Want to make sure they're logging in and they're not just doing it once a month. So that's why we have that weekly number. And I'll still send you the monthly recap so that overall you can make sure that they're in line with that. If we're doing 10 a week, they should be at 40 a month. And you'll see it on that report as well. That'll just be a number, very clear. Hey, this is what they did for the month report.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, good. All right, any other questions?
Yeah, this is Lou again in Des Plaines. When you have the meeting with the salespeople, are you going to let them know that they have 2 months to finish this level or 30?
Yeah.
I like to have them do it sooner than later. So are you going to let them know that they have 2 months to finish a level?
Yeah, we're going to let them know that they have 30 days for the first one, being like the earliest expectation, and then 2 months for each of the levels. So when we do the call for the sales team, it'll be a little bit different. It won't be as technical. I'm not going to be showing them all the different departments, or David won't. The main thing will be that, one, they understand how the curriculum breaks out for them, like time frame wise, what their daily expectation would be if they want to hit certain levels. So we'll give them examples of, if you're trying to do this in 30 days for a level, or let's say within 60 days for a level, how much of a time commitment per week or per day that's gonna be. So we'll give them that so that they understand how much time that's really going to be. And we will tell them that as part of their initial call, what the expectation is for the first 30 days and what they need to do to complete it then, and then what they'd need to do for the next 60 days and 60 days after that and so forth. Does that answer your question? So we'll give them the time frames.
Yes, it does. Thanks.
Okay. All right, good. Good question so far. Again, I know it's a lot. It's an in-depth program, guys. There's so much to it, not just for the sales team, also for managers and what we can do with the meetings, the boot camps especially. What other questions can you guys think of so far? Because I know it's always a lot that comes up after the fact. But I mean, going into a whole new program, so I want to address as much as we can right now. Okay. All right. If we're pretty good on the questions, there is one more piece that I want to make sure you know about on the management side. That's really going to be for your new hires. Every one of your salespeople that's starting off right now, their first part of the program is going to be level 1. But I want you to know that there's a level before level 1, which is the new hires. Okay, and what that is that if you're already with a store, you're a current employee, you already have some background either in training or in the industry in general. You start off with level 1. And that only looks like a time commitment of, let's say, about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more, to even complete that whole section in the first month. When you have a new hire to the store and HR sets up a login for the brand new guy, they're on an advanced curriculum where their first 5 days before they even see level 1, I mean, level 1 for them is going to be blocked off as a brand new hire because they have new hire training that puts them through fundamentals, process, and training on calls. This is a 5-day curriculum. And for them to finish this in the first 5 days, then they'd have to be in here for about 2.5 hours per day for that first week at minimum to make sure they're finishing the new hire curriculum so that they can move into level 1. So I just want you to know. Yeah, go ahead. All right. So I just want you to know that for new hires, they have that advanced curriculum. It'll be, quite a bit of training for that initial jump, that first week. They'll probably be doing their certifications anyway. So, I mean, this is their first introduction to the program, to training in general, a lot of times to the business if they've never been in it. So again, it's a pretty lengthy curriculum. For that first week, it's strong. It's a quick start. And then it tapers down to the same thing that your salespeople are going to be doing for level 1 starting this week.
So you're expecting 30 minutes a day from each of these guys every day?
30 minutes a day if they want to finish level 1 in the first month. So they don't have to do it, right? They don't have to do 30 minutes a day. If they have the expectation of, hey, I want to complete this before I even get access to level 2, then that would be the pace you'd have to work at to do that. These are set up.
I don't want to be a soothsayer bad, but my guys are real busy. We're hitting records that we've never hit, and every other store in Chicago is too. And if there's not going to be a pay incentive for them to do it, their time it's going to be hard to motivate them, if you follow where I'm going with this.
Yeah, everyone, we're switching providers, not switching expectations. So whatever the expectations were prior when we were with Joe Verdi, they remain the same.
I agree, Mike. You understand where I'm going? We're having record months and we're getting better and better. We're having guys selling 30, 35 cars a month at some stores. They don't really have time, unfortunately or fortunately, because, I mean, they're selling more than a car a day. So for them to put in effort, and I'm not saying it's not worth it, I'm just looking at the bad downside of it. Without any incentive to make them do it, it's going to be hard for us managers to manage it, is what I'm saying.
Okay. All right, we can discuss that.
Just a second, Doug, this is Kevin. Listen, Like Mike said, the expectation is not going to change. If you have salespeople selling 30 cars a month, you need to hire more people, man. That's the issue there. I know everybody's busy. We're selling a lot of cars. We had a record month. Every store had a record month last month, but the expectation is not going to change. It's going to be the same as it was with Joe Verdi, like Mike said. But if you have salespeople selling 30 cars a month, you need more people there. You don't have enough people.
I agree on both. What I was thinking, Kevin, is it not a positive, but if they don't do it in 60 days, we take it as a negative and they go down a level to give them some impetus to do it.
Nobody's going to go down a level. Nobody's going to get their pay docked or whatever. We realize that this is a new program. It's going to take a little bit of a learning curve to get through it, but at the end of the day, the expectation is going to be the same as it was with Joe Verdi. We don't want you guys doing more work or more stuff. But yeah, it may take a little bit longer just to learn it and get through the process or whatever. But at the end of the day, there shouldn't be no reason why we can't execute on this. I mean,
we don't want to penalize anyone either. I mean, if
we're not going to penalize anybody. We're not going to raise pay. It is what it is. It's a new system. It's a new program, and it might take a little bit to get used to it, I guess. And the reporting and the structure and the logins and everything else, it's going to take a little bit of time, but not that much. And there's no reason why all your folks can't get trained up on this very, very quickly once it's implemented. But again, if you're selling 30 cars a month, if you have people selling 30 a month, you need more people, man.
We got an app out right now. It's trying to get the right person to fit when we're such a small store to bring the fourth guy on.
But listen, again, if you're selling that many, listen, everybody's having a record month. Everybody had a record month in March. Every store had a record month.
Yep.
And that's good news. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I want to jump in here real quick. And Doug, it sounds like you've got awesome sales guys. I mean, you've got an awesome team working with you. As long as they were good with what they were doing earlier, then that's exactly what they're expected to do. So just like we'll make sure that when we kick it off, that we have that as the expectation. I mean, that's the idea. Look, we'll give them an understanding of what it'd take to complete this in that time frame. But look, if what they were doing before was working and we're just switching up, like I said, it's a different provider, different kind of training, but the same time expectation. Nothing should change. Should be the same time commitment for your guys. We don't want to complicate things for them. Never want to make things. We definitely don't want to change what's working right now, what's successful with them. So, again, time will be the same, but they'll just have access to the next level, before they're done with that first one. Doesn't even mean they do it in a different order. Just means that the box is going to light up for them. That's really it.
Well, I think training is what they need every day. It's the basis of keeping your basics in front of you and making you better. And I agree. If they're used to it and we present this to them the proper way, I think it'll have a better send-off.
Yeah. And I can tell that, with your guys, you make that an important thing. They understand the importance of it. So I don't think we'll have any trouble with it. But look, I mean, it's a new program. Again, we're kicking this off now. So whatever you guys can think of that you see with your salespeople, I mean, if you have a unique situation at your store, it's not wrong to bring it up now. So, I mean, we're okay with it. But that being the case, I went over the new hire. I just kind of want to recap real quick on some of the different things that we've talked about. I want to make sure that you know what kind of the jumping off point is for today. So all the store managers, you will have logins going out to you today for your team, for all the different departments. The official start for your districts is today. So when they get the information, they can start immediately. Reason being that their training being released, the schedule, the time schedule it works off of is based off of when their login was set up. They're set up today, they start today. Time frame for them, we will cover during the sales call, but just so that again, it's 30 days for that level 1, 60 days for every level after that. Information on their completion automatically will go to HR, so we'll have that covered. You will get a weekly and monthly report. A week just showing you what level they're on and what percentage to completion they're at for it. The monthly giving you just more of a time commitment, what they've done for the month overall, so you can make sure the activity is in line with what we're looking for. Last thing being, your new hires, they get set up after today, have that advanced curriculum. If they're brand new to the store, and this is something that maybe you should let HR know when you have a new guy. If you have somebody that maybe was left off the list, but he's not brand new to the store, make sure that they know he's not a new hire, he's just was not on the original list. Versus if he's a new hire, he's going to have that advanced curriculum, that 2.5 hours a day, which is separate, something that the salespeople don't have to do right now. It's a different kind of start. So if you have that, just make sure that you differentiate when you let HR know that we need to log in for that person. So from a getting started standpoint, accessing the system, what the salespeople should be doing or what management should be doing standpoint. Do I have any questions at this point? Okay, then this is a good point. If you guys don't have any other questions for me, then this is a good point to move forward. What I'll do is I'll send out a message to all the managers here for each of these two districts, Central, and I've got the Northeast District. I'll send you all an email with my contact information. I'll have David Bradley, so he's the sales rep on the account. He may be even stopping in one of your stores if he's in the area. So that way you guys can get in contact with us if you have any questions, anything that comes up. Feel free to reach out. And that's it. Thanks so much for being on today's call.
I'm sorry, this is Doug Olson again. Did I miss how we're going to log or?
Oh, no. I'm sending you a list. It'll be a list going out to you with your people. And really all it is, it's going to be a link to the site and to the logins for each individual. And then when they're set up, they're also going to be getting an individual confirmation saying, hey, here's a link to the site. Here's your login information. So that you get both.
Thank you.
Not a problem. All right. Thanks a lot. All right. Thanks so much for being on, guys. You guys have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.